Hotep, I am the Amen Osiris, the one and only undisputed God of law. We are deception stoppers. You can email me at 4D_destroyer at yahoo.com if you need to schedule an appointment. All right, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you again how to take 4D's information and use it against them. Okay, and this we're going to label the demand notice of demand for personal responsibility contract technique. Okay, now again, gentlemen, you have to dig into the bowels of 4D if you want to know how it works. Okay, so we're going to go here. This is section 403, 42 U.S.C. 603. All right. Right here, fellas, it should tell you Title 42 was never enacted into positive law. So anything that is done under this title is done under color of law. Okay. Keep that in mind. That's very important. So we're going to slide down to section 5C, and I'm going to show you something. And I expounded on this a little bit before, but what I want to do is I'm going to show you again. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay. And what we're going to do, we're going to read in here, and I want you to pay attention to this. Okay. In the case of a noncustodial parent who becomes enrolled in the project on or after the date of the enactment of this clause, the noncustodial parent is in compliance with the terms of an oral or written personal responsibility contract entered into among the noncustodial parent and the entity. Okay? And gentlemen, here's where you got them by the balls. Okay? Now we're going to scroll down a little bit. Okay? All right. They want a commitment by the non-custodial parent to cooperate in the earliest opportunity in the establishment of the paternity of a minor child through what? Voluntary acknowledgement or other procedures. All right. What is the other procedures? TNA. Okay. And in the establishment of a child support order. So in other words, if you don't voluntarily acknowledge procedures, all right, there can't be an establishment or a voluntary acknowledged paternity, there can't be an establishment of a support order. Okay. But they want this is a commitment that they're asking for. Someone asks you to make a commitment, gentlemen. You're not obligated to give a commitment. A commitment by the non-custodial parent to cooperate in the payment of 4D child support for the minor child, which may include modification. So, in other words, gentlemen, commitment. Look at it as you consent and you accept all the benefits thereof. All right, so this is really what they should be saying. A consensual, this has to be consensual, gentlemen. Child support's not mandatory, it's voluntary, it's right here. A commitment by the non-custodial parent to participate in employment-related activities. All right, why? Because they can't garnish your wages if you're not employed. That will enable the non-custodial to make regular payments. All right, guess what? The first thing that they do in child support is put a wage garnishment. So these are involuntary payments. These are not voluntary payments that they're talking about. Okay, and don't worry about this section right here. Now look, a description of services to be provided under this paragraph and a commitment by the non-custodial parent to participate in such services that are designated to assist the non-custodial parent obtain and retain employment. No employment, no wage garnishment. Increase earnings. The more money the non-custodial makes, the more they take. And enhance the financial and emotional contributions and to the well-being of the child. This is bullshit. So, in other words, when you increase your earnings, what you're doing is you're enhancing the financial profits for the 4D agency. Because don't forget, child support is not for the best interest of the children. Okay. Anybody ever heard of contempt of court for not making emotional contributions to the well-being of a minor child? I didn't think so. So what we've done is I've taken this information and now I'm going to show you again how to use it against them. All right. There's a couple other little pieces I'm going to show you in here, but this is some really powerful shit. So you got to look at the words. All right. Again, words are everything. All right. So you're going to be this is a demand for the personal responsibility contract. Okay. I'm hosting a webinar this evening and I'm going to show you how to demand the 4D contracts, all right, the two that are in place. Okay. And the reason I'm going to show, well, if you stop by the webinar, you'll find out. But in this case, what we're going to do is you're going to take it to another level, okay? And you're going to hurt somebody really bad with this information. So you're going to send this demand to the 4D agency in the county and the state. All right, so you got the main agency, and then you got your little separate units all in the counties. Okay, you're going to send one to whatever the court and the 4D contractor that you think is a judge. Okay, and you're going to send one to the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, which is in Washington, D.C. Okay, and you're going to send this certified mail. And if I were you, I would use a notary. Okay, so this is what it's going to say. And you can copy this later, all right, but I'm going to give you this one because, again, the gloves are off and I'm not playing with child support anymore. If feds want to fuck with me, I'm putting all their shit out there. The Fifth Amendment, all right, this is your leading paragraph here. All right, let me just drop that down. Okay. The Fifth Amendment in Article 1, Section, I'm just using Section 3 of the Constitution for the state requires that John of the family donut, remember that, gentlemen, okay? A name is a designation of a human being or firm or corporation. A human being's name consists of one or more given Christian names and a family name. Okay? That all caps name. All right. Human beings do not have last names. Okay? And it's not spelled in all capital letters. Shall not be deprived of life, liberty, or property unless by due process of law. Okay? Now, this is a fact. The requirement of the Fifth Amendment, as well as Section 3, and Section 3, if you go to your state constitution, all right, and look up the due process clause for that state constitution, you're going to use both. Fifth Amendment, all right, Constitution for the United States, and the amendment for the state. Okay. Now, from here, the requirement of the Fifth Amendment, as well as Section, I'm just using the Section 3, is also present. Here it is under 45 CFR .101C2. Which clearly requires that the due process rights of the parties involved must be protected. And 42 U.S.C. 666 A5CI, which also requires the state must afford due process safeguards. So there's no getting around it. Okay? You have to. It must is mandatory. And the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. It governs the state's conduct. So, pursuant to the Federal Office of Child Support Enforcement, Glossary of Common Child Support Terms, page 11, due process is the principle of fairness in legal proceedings so that a person, all right, I'm gonna highlight this. Not highlight, but I'm gonna put some, put some quotes on here. All right, and when I'm reading in this person, now, gentlemen, you got to keep it out of the artificial person. So what you're going to do is you're going to put here, see the preamble to the Constitution, because in the Constitution, the state believes in Almighty God. All right, in Genesis 1:26, which is the God that they believe in, because they're a Christian ecclesiastic state, all right, it says, let us create man in our image and likeness. So when they're talking about person in the Constitution and a person here, all right, it is a man. Has a right to know what action is being taken, okay, and has an opportunity to be heard. Therefore, pursuant to the supreme law of the land, it is hereby ordered, okay, you're not, all right, you're demanding it, you're ordering it, that you will provide the following. Now, what I've done is I've copied and pasted this so you can get the idea. In accordance with 42 U.S.C. 60, all right, you can read the numbers. In the case of a noncustodial parent, and I just read you this, who becomes enrolled in the project on or after the date of the enactment of this clause, the noncustodial parent is in compliance with the terms of an oral or written personal responsibility contract entered into among the noncustodial parent and the entity. Furthermore, all right, 42 U.S.C. 666, again, mark of the beast, color of law, okay, describes procedures to ensure that if the non-custodial parent owed past due support, he will work or have a plan for repayment. A plan for repayment. So, this is what you're going to be demanding. The plan for payment is hereby demanded, okay? You got them by the balls. They can't, well, there is no, here it is right here. Okay, I want that plan. You want the plan. Okay, because a plan has to be signed. The state has to have a plan for child support, and it must be submitted to the federal agency. So therefore, your plan must be submitted to them, so they got to have a copy of it. but I bet you they don't. The identity of the non-custodial pay rent is hereby demanded. Okay? How is the non-custodial pay rent identified? By the Social Security number, which is the property of the Social Security Administration. All information pertaining to the enrollment in the project is hereby demanded. Here it is. Look, when did you enroll in the project? So you want all the information on that. Okay? All the information pertaining to the personal responsibility contract entered into among the non-custodial pay rent and the entity. All right, you already know who the entity is, the 42 U.S.C. 654.3 single and separate unit. That is a extension of the 42 U.S.C. 652A separate unit of the United States Department of Health and Human Services, federal corporation operating in the state, which is a foreign corporation in respect to the state. All information pertaining to the terms of the personal responsibility contract. Here it is. Look, they're saying that you're in compliance with the terms of a personal responsibility contract, oral or written. All right, I want to see those terms. All right, you can't just tell somebody terms. That shit's got to be on paper. All right, now we're going to skip this this little section right here. All right, you want a full description of the project. Okay, what project did you enroll in? Here it is right here. Enrolled in the project. What is the project? So I want a full description of the project. It is hereby demanded. Full description of the program. What is a program? Okay. Where is it at? Project. Secretary. All right, I'll find it in a minute. All right, but the program, what is the program? Program is what? Title 4D program, isn't it? So you want a full description of that. Okay. Proof. Now, of a commitment by the non-custodial parent to cooperate at the earliest opportunity in the establishment of paternity of the minor child through voluntary acknowledgement or other procedures, and in the establishment of a child support order is hereby demanded. When did I make this commitment? When did I become and succeed to the status of non-custodial parent? When did I agree to cooperate in the establishment of paternity through voluntary acknowledgement of paternity under the due process clause, which requires you to what? Inform me of the legal consequences. All right, this is hereby demanded. Proof of a commitment by the non-custodial parent to cooperate in the payment of child support and participation of such parent in the project. All right, when did you make a commitment? When did you become a non-custodial parent? When did you say, hey, I'll cooperate in the payment for child support of a minor child? Okay. When did you say, okay, I will participate as a parent in the project? All right, I'm demanding this. I want to know when all this was done. There's got to be a paper trail. If this was done, there has to be a paper trail, gentlemen, because a personal responsibility contract, any contract requires what? You got to have terms, you have condition, acceptance or rejection, the 5 elements of a contract. Proof a commitment by the non-custodial parent to agree to participate in employment or related activities that will enable the non-custodial parent to make regular child support payments. All right, I'm demanding that. When did I make a commitment to make regular child support payments? When did you do that? Okay. Where's the paperwork, all right, that you agreed to make a commitment to pay child support paperwork? All right, that is hereby demanded. Proof of a description of services to be provided under this paragraph, and here it is again, commitment by the non-custodial parent to participate in such services that are designed to assist the non-custodial parent to obtain and retain employment and increase earnings. Okay. Number one, like I said earlier, the more money that the non-custodial parent makes, the more they can take. Okay. And services. In other words, if the non-custodial parent does not have a job, you participate in services that are designed to, that's peonage. All right. It's involuntary servitude. The only reason they want you to get a job is to pay them. not you, the non-custodial parent, excuse me. All right, because again, somebody again show me where you get held in contempt of court for not enhancing the emotional well-being of a minor child. Okay, and a child is a person. All right, a child is not a human being. Okay, it became a child. Your offspring became a child when that birth certificate was signed. All right, your offspring became a child when that Social Security card was requested. Okay, you turned it over. You turned it from offspring to child, just like you went from man to non-custodial parent. All right, that is still de-evolution title. Now, failure to provide any of the above information will be deemed your tacit admission that such information does not exist, and the 4D case number, whatever it is dismissed for lack of due process. I am the Amen Osiris. Okay? Now, gentlemen, if you want to take this information and expound upon it and create your own little defense with it, knock yourself out. Okay, I'm just giving you the basis of it. All right, you can take this and create it into something way more lethal if you have the skills. But you definitely, at minimum, want to learn this technique, because when you start asking for stuff that the law requires there to be and there to have, they have to produce it. If they don't, that means, oh, you don't have this, you don't have this, you don't have this. You can't prove that, you can't prove that, you can't prove this. And the law says you have to have it. See you, wouldn't want to be you. All right? This is a very, very, very influential technique. All right? And if you execute it properly, it can incapacitate any opponent. Okay? So, if you need to hone your skills a little bit, again, 4D_destroyer at yahoo.com. I'm the Amen Osiris. Use this information, gentlemen. All right. Start sticking it to them. All right. And I'm going to show you later how to really get it in. All right. Using the Social Security Administration. Hotep.